Next up is going to be Robert Cabero.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Robert Cabero. Mr. West was my basketball coach, teacher, as well as a big mentor in my life. I wrote a little bit just to kind of explain the influence he had on me. I met Mr. West when I was in first grade. I was walking to class late, and he said, "You're late." I replied back with, "I know." And he laughed and ran up and jokingly threw a couple air punches at me like older men do when they're playing with the next generation of boys. Being young, growing up in my neighborhood, I was always told if someone messes with you, punch them as hard as you can right in the stomach. I wasn't told that that didn't apply to teachers. I punched him in the stomach, knocked the wind out of him, and ran off laughing. As I was running off, he said, "I'm going to get you back for that." Wow. He actually liked me and respected me for the fact that I defended myself. We formed a bond from that point on. As he would see me in the halls, he would always remind me how he was going to get me back, and I would always laugh and run off. As I was getting older in a bad neighborhood, my mom started to notice the neighborhood kids start hanging around with the wrong crowds. And with her working long hours, she decided to see if she could sign us up for an after-school program. The problem being, there wasn't one. Mr. West happened to walk by and was told that my mom was looking for something to keep us busy and out of trouble. He took it upon himself to say he would take care of us after school, and he would take us to school's basketball practice for the team that he coached, just to keep us out of trouble as well as teach us basketball. He literally took us under his wing. We learned basketball while also helping with supplies and anything else we could help with. The older kids didn't like it, as he would take time to teach us during their practice, but he didn't care. He made it his mission to teach us basketball. I learned so much from his coaching that by the 3rd grade, I was good enough to be on the 5th and 6th grade basketball team. Now let's fast forward a few years of still being under his wing and spending 1 hour before school and 2 hours after school every single day practicing and learning basketball with him. Mr. West was such a mentor, and I looked up to him so much that I can still remember a lot of stories. Like 5th grade, after knowing him from years of basketball, now he was going to be my teacher. I walked into my first day of 5th grade feeling like the coolest kid on the planet because I was already friends with my 5th grade teacher. As I'm walking to class, Mr. West stops me, puts both hands on my shoulders, and says, "Remember that time you punched me in the stomach?" I started laughing, and he picked me up, put me against the wall with my feet dangling in the air in front of my whole 5th grade class, and said, "Didn't I tell you I was going to get you back?" Everyone laughed. It was actually the perfect icebreaker for everyone and shaped the atmosphere for the rest of the year. Mr. West loved to have fun and was always laughing and joking, unless you took advantage of his niceness. Myself, being the bad little hard-headed kid growing up in a tough neighborhood, let's just say I learned that the hard way. I joked all the time with him because at this point, he wasn't just my coach or my teacher, he was family. Well, I joked and joked until I was also the one who he had to set an example for the rest of the school year with. He disciplined me with tough punishment, put me in push-up position in front of the whole class. For those who don't know what push-up position is, that's when you stand in the form of a push-up. You don't actually do it, you just sit there for the allotted time he gives you. He showed everyone that day that he is fun, but when it's time for him to teach, you're going to respect him and listen. I've learned more about being a responsible adult from my experiences with him than anyone else could have taught me.